And I think this is a big change for Liverpool with Salah as a centre-forward. Now, I'm just going to look at last season at Bournemouth. Now, this is last season, similar, same score, 4-0. So they're Salah's touches, attacking-wise. Now, we can see from the other side, the touches are now spread right across the actual pitch. What he doesn't have on that side is those there in defensive situations. He doesn't have that. Now, the thing with him playing there is talking about a change in system. So he never plays there when it's 4-3-3. He normally just plays there when it's 4-2-3-1. And we're going to look at the first game he played there, which was Southampton, when he played central. And we go down the list of teams. What's very telling is he very rarely plays there in what you would call the big games.
Why is that?
So, well, I think Jurgen Klopp wants to go with maybe 3 in midfield. I would imagine that's the obvious one. Man City also. Huddersfield is one. And then obviously you see the Arsenal game there, where he's on the right. So the rest of the time, he's in central areas. Maybe that's an extra attacker on the pitch, get Shaqiri in the team, Fabinho central. I just think the interesting thing will be, because Man United fall into that category of one of the big sides, even though obviously it's not going great for them, but it's Man United coming to Anfield. If you actually think of last season, Man United coped with Salah really well. If you remember Ashley Young, I've played right-footed as a left-back. You naturally tuck in because you're right-footed. And that's the space Salah likes. So it might be interesting if this is the first so-called big game where Salah actually plays, that'd be the big sort of question mark for Jurgen Klopp going into this game. Look at what United did last season. And also, is Salah actually enjoying it more at centre-forward rather than on the right?
One to keep our eye on. So they are still as effective, Liverpool, as an attacking unit. But what about defensively? Well, in 16 games, they've conceded just 6 goals, the fewest at this stage of any top-flight season. How impressive, Gary, has that transformation been?
It's been incredible. It's been coming now for the last 12 months. It's not just Van Dijk. But I think when you look at sort of those goals conceded now, I take Jamie's point before in terms of everyone being, Liverpool being everyone's second team. I won't go that far. But I get his point around when you used to get your matches sent through at the start of the month and you saw Liverpool and Tottenham games, you think, right, we're going to get a good game. Because the way they played, they just concede goals, they score goals, exciting to watch. And you look at this defence, and this is from 2 years ago. It was Mignolet in goal. Klein at right back, Matip, Lovren, James Milner, emergency left back. And you ask the question, is that a back five that's going to win you a title? And that's the only thing that I ever do when I look at Liverpool Football Club. So if I criticise Liverpool Football Club, it's always against that measurement of thinking, title, can they win the title? So when you look at the goalkeeper, and I've probably been the harshest critic of Liverpool's goalkeepers over the last 2 or 3 years. Not because I don't like them as goalkeepers. I actually think they're very good goalkeepers. I actually think they're good Premier League goalkeepers and will have great careers. But then, when you've seen the riches of Schmeichel and Van der Sar, and you saw goals going into the back of Liverpool's net, that you would see commentators say, "Oh, keeper couldn't have done anything about that," and you think, "Yeah, he could." The greatest keepers, the best in the world, they save them. And you look at the biggest difference, and you look at that there, save ratio, 86%, the highest in the league, compared to last season, 64%. There's your defensive record. Yeah, I think the 2 lads, Gomez and Trent Alexander-Arnold, are fantastic. I actually love them to bits, to be honest with you, in terms of watching them. I think that Jurgen Klopp introducing, having belief in those young players is fantastic. I think what he's done on the other side, we'll talk about. Van Dijk is bold. 75 million, putting all your eggs in one basket, and it's paid off like you wouldn't believe. But the goalkeeper is winning them point after point after point. 3 I've just showed you there in those games against Everton and Chelsea. And then you come to the left-back. And I had personal experience of Robertson playing for England, with England as a coach against Scotland. He was at fault for 3 goals, I thought. We targeted him. And he's almost like, I can't give him... I'm saying this with the sort of... He's almost like a Dennis Irwin type signing. Now, I don't think he's anywhere near as good as Dennis Irwin yet, because Dennis Irwin was one of the best fullbacks I've ever seen. But you don't normally get players that almost emerge anymore from like a Hull and then bring them into a top team and they go on to become... He's shocked me. He's shocked me like you wouldn't believe. So when you look at that back 5 there now, through promotion of youth, bold, recruitment that even probably made Jurgen Klopp wince, and the belief in Robertson from Hull. They've corrected and they've brought order to the team, which, to be honest with you, is painful.
What about their style as well? This is what Klopp has had to say on that. You know, often talked about as the man of the gegenpress, counter-pressing. He says, a lot of teams saw that we were good at that, the counter-pressing, and realised they were overplaying. If the team gives us the opportunity to do it, we will still be there with the counter-press, but very often it is not possible. So have you seen that evolution of style, Jamie?
Yes, I think we have seen it. Jurgen Klopp, when he come in, he was a top manager. We knew he was. But I think the one worry for me as a Liverpool supporter was, will the manager ever evolve, adapt, change, really, from 4-3-3? Constant pressing all the time. Will his teams ever not be involved in basketball games end to end? Will he sort the defence out? I didn't think he would. And that was always my worry, that this is going to be an unbelievable ride with Jurgen Klopp. But really, will Liverpool win the big trophies at the end of it? They may not. But they've been to a Champions League final. The top of the league after 16 games, looking like they're going to have a real title challenge. That's because of the changes Jurgen Klopp's brought in, really. And that's the biggest testament to him as a manager, because I think he's pigeonholed as, you know, running up and down the line, screaming, shouting, this motivator, where there's not actually much probably thought or tactical stuff going on behind the scenes, which is, as I think, is a myth with every manager, because we always pigeonhole managers, really. But did I think he was capable of seeing the changes I've seen, certainly this season and the back end of last season? No. So he's actually an even better manager in my eyes for what's happening this season. Not because Liverpool are top of the league. Liverpool were top of the league this time 2 years ago under Klopp, but actually the way they're going about it. People are saying it's not exciting. Absolute rubbish and nonsense. What Liverpool are doing now is much, much better than anything we've seen under Jurgen Klopp since he come.
I would completely agree with that. I used to watch Liverpool 2 years ago and thinking, how are they going to win the league playing that? How can they play 3 games every day? It was madness. And if you got through the first hour, you were actually all right. And actually, this morning asked for, you know, what was the percentage of goals that were scored by Liverpool in the first hour, you know, in the last couple of seasons? It was 73% of their goals were scored in the first hour. And that's representative now. They only score 53%, 20% less. What does that mean? They're willing to be more patient. They've got more order. They can control and manage the outcome of games better. They don't feel as though they have to win it in a panic, in a manic sort of assault on the other team, like it felt when they were playing sort of a year and a half ago. And now they are playing like a championship winning team. This is a rounded, very good side.
And it all means that they've enjoyed an incredible start to the season. We're still calling it a start after 16 games. But it's right up there, isn't it? With the very best starts to a top division in 4th place. Significantly, everyone else there has gone on to win the title. Can Liverpool?
They can, and I've thought that for a few months. However, they've got one big problem, and that's the team at the top of that list. They're up against an outstanding team. And you look at the sort of points clear that Manchester City were last season with that same sort of record. You look at all the teams that have got in, are on that chart, how many points they were clear. Liverpool are only 1 clear. So for all their efforts, for all the quality, for all the performances, they're in a dogfight still. But they should relish it, because they are performing at a title-winning level. They have to now maintain it over those next 22 games, is it? But they're at a title-winning level. They have to maintain it, and City are not going to let them go. They're going to have to hang in there with them, not just in a game-by-game basis, in a season-by-season basis. And that's going to be tough.